Okay, we're back. This is the bonus round. So I got the MBR mats in, these two, well, up to here. And I took the other leftover stuff, and there's actually like 4 or 5 pieces in here. It's hard to tell once you get them together. The actual joint, you probably can't even see it, but it's right down here. And then there's a couple pieces in here, and there's a piece down there. Anyway, again, with the mats, if you cut them and get them together, it's pretty easy to disguise the joints. So then what I did do, because I went along and I took off all of that Heki Wild Gras. The more I looked at it, the more I was like, I just don't like it. So I didn't have any more of these MBR mats. I have another one, but it's not quite the same. But I did have some of these Martin Welberg mats, 3 of them. Well, these 2 are the same, but they all look very, very similar. The only thing I didn't like is you can kind of see a little bit of the color. There was a bunch of them that were really, really kind of an orange color. I think trying to be, late fall and stuff like that. Well, I'm kind of modeling early fallish, I guess, mid-September-ish, maybe into early October. So all I did was I took these out to the garage, and I have some paints, and I just kind of painted them a little bit. I mean, some of that color is still there. I just kind of subdued it a little bit. I used some florist spray paints, I think a hunter green and a basil, and it just kind of blends everything and kind of subdues that wild looking orange type stuff. So I think that looks a little bit better. I'm going to set them in. No, obviously they're not in yet. We're going to go here. There's another one here. And then this is one that's similar, a little bit lower on the foliage. That's going to go there. So that gets me up to this point. Then I can noodle around and do something here. And I got it. Yeah, okay, anyway. And then what I'm probably going to do is right here where these 2 joints, since they are kind of different, you can see the tonality is a little different. What I'm probably going to do is put maybe some type of, like, this is where water runs down, and then put like some low shrub, like it's a little mini tree line to kind of help break from here to here. Not big trees, although I always could. It wouldn't. I mean, it's only one. I don't want to tree the whole side, so it blocks everything. But have that, look, kind of dirt, have water come down, then have some standing water down in here. Maybe have some higher weeds starting to grow there and encroach the right of way, etc., etc. So that's the plan for that. So these are still drying a little bit. I might let them sit overnight. I had them out in the sunshine for an hour or so. But I might just let them go and sit overnight, and then I got to figure out exactly what I'm going to do there, and of course along here as well. Although, thinking about it, I'm sure there's areas where basically a field comes up to the embankment and goes down to the railroad. What would probably really be the case is the field would come and will go up to the railroad, but I don't have it that way. So anyway, so that's what I got to figure out, what I want to put along the back there. Maybe just a bunch of lower shrubs, brubs, maybe a taller, scraggly looking tree every now and again, some down on the embankment itself, kind of growing out of it a little bit. Some fallen deadfall down by the tracks and whatnot, just for variety's sake. And then bring it into here, and then probably put I can see a larger tree kind of there, because there's the kind of the joint, so to speak, in the backdrop. So if I put a tree in there, maybe it helps disguise the fact that the cornfield just kind of blurs off into into nowhere. But that's where he blended it. So they did a nice job. But if I put a nice tree here and some other stuff here, I probably can disguise that a little bit, just so it's not so obvious. So that's not super obvious. You have to really come in and kind of look at it. All right, so that's it. So that's the next phase here, is working on the embankment here, heading toward the tunnel. All right, more to come as, whoop, my finger's in the way. More to come as we plug away here. Okay, I think I neglected to mention, I said I was using these Martin Welberg mats, but I forgot to say which ones they are. So this is an WBM044 Type D called Wild Shrubbery. 2 of those. And then one of these, which is a little bit lower in terms of the height of the stuff. It's WB-M028 Wild Verge Weeds. One of these. Like I did mention, both of these were kind of spray painted to kind of mute the orangish colors that were on them. Now these are available. These I bought at Scenic Express. At least they were available. You got to check and see if they're in stock. They seem to be in stock, then not in stock, then in stock, then not in stock. And I usually wait for, Scenic Express to have one of their sales and then go ahead and, hey, that's me waving. Hi, reflection. All right, so those are the mats that I'm using. Again, everything will be down in the description if you're interested in what was used for this project. All right, continuing on here on the embankment toward the tunnel. What I've done here, as I mentioned, I have additional mats in here, right in here. It's hard to see now because I'm starting to disguise stuff. Is one of the Welberg mats, and another Welberg mat, and another Welberg mat, and some drop pieces from some leftover mats in there to be disguised. This I didn't do a whole lot in here, although I added a tiny bit. Where did I do that? So a tiny bit right there, and then over there in here, these are from Polack. That's one of their blooming flowers. I did do a little bit here at the top of the tunnel. Again, this was some of the MBR bushes, some Filigree Bushes, an MBR tree here, and then the drop pieces from the tree, some of the MBR shrubbery that I actually painted basil, or give it a mist of the basil color. And then working back along here, I actually started working over here. I was like, wait a minute, what are you working in the front for? Work the back and then come to the front. So I stopped working here in the front. So I did a little bit there. Got some stuff going on there. Then we're going to come back in and disguise things and do a little bit more work. And then here in the back, coming down the hill, I just started plopping in a couple MBR bushes here and there. And I did do what you probably can't really tell because it's kind of subtle, is I pulled back the Heki Wild Gras, which is the brighter green, and then I glued in drop pieces from the MBR mats, which were a little bit more vertical back right against the wall. It's probably really hard to see that because then I went back and I pulled the remaining wild grass back up to blend it, and then I put some Heki floor, they call it their micro floor. Oh, sorry about that. Got interrupted by my wife. She's out there running the vacuum in the pool and had a question. All right, so like I said, I put some pieces, the drop pieces of the MBR mat back along the backdrop, and then some Heki micro floor. What's the actual? This is excellent stuff. I forgot I was using this. All right, Heki floor, and then I believe there's the different numbers. I think I was using the Hellgrün, which is a dark green, and there might be a pine green. I'd have to go look, but those are the numbers there. It's in the number series 1550 to 1558. Good stuff. I need to buy some more. Right now I'm using the middle green, and you can hardly even see it. And that's the whole point, right? You don't want to be able to look at this and go, oh yeah, right there you use that, and there's that, and there's that. It's like, no, you want to look and go, wow, scenery, nice, and not really know exactly what was used. But it's sprinkled in along here, and it's kind of, some of it's on top, some of it where I did not do the drop pieces of the mat, and it's just the wild grass. I did kind of lay some of that in there. There's a little bit you can kind of see there of the, I think that's the middle green color. You don't got to glue it. That's what's so much fun about it. You just kind of rip it and it just sticks right in there again. Unless you're getting hurricane force winds in your basement. Then I come along, I did put an MBR bush there. I still got to do things in between there. So that's what's going on there. And then over here, like I said, I did start doing some of the disguising. Right here, you can kind of see right down through there is where the microflora is, the Heki floor, F-L-O-R. And that's the pine green, I think that's what that is. And then you can always come back and take it and you know, stretch it out a little bit so it kind of looks like it's growing everywhere, because you don't want it to be super obvious when you put a divider in, right? Between the mats. I mean, you might be able to see that. I mean, I can see it, but again, I just finished doing it. I think if you walk down here, you may not be able to tell. So here, I'll do a demonstration. So here's some that I did with the slightly lighter green. You can see down here. Okay, see it's not done. That's the gap, and that's where these two mats meet. So I'm gonna just stop the camera real quick. I'm gonna rip a little bit of this stuff. I'm gonna put it in there, and you can see what it looks like afterwards. See if it does what I think it's gonna do. All right, we'll be right back. All right, I'm hand holding this, so this is probably gonna be a little shaky, but all you do is rip off a piece of it. It's like on a web, and you just kind of pull it apart, and you can actually pull it apart a lot further than you think. And then I just lay it in, and again, I don't know if I'll be able to do this, hold on here, with one hand, and try to see, and oh, you can keep the phone where you guys can see it. You just kind of take it in, you just kind of sit in there. You can see it kind of blends, and this color is nice because it kind of blends with the mats. It's almost got a slight basil color, which I kind of painted these ways, so you can see that's how it does it. Now, you'll see it right away and go, oh yeah, I see where you put the gap. But don't forget, if you walk in here, having never seen this before, and you're looking at it, you might just go, oh, look at that, nice. Now, let me do a little bit more down here, and then maybe a piece or two, you know, kind of spreading out to make it look like it's just not obviously a straight line going down. All right, be right back. Okay, trying to hold the phone and the light, because on the back side of this embankment here, it's dark, but so there it is. I kind of put it in and spread it out a little bit onto the left and right side. So you can kind of see what that looks like there. You know, the main line is kind of, oh, I can't even point because I got I got this light in my hand. It's kind of like right down the middle. You can kind of see it. Then I kind of went around and just added more to it. So that's kind of what you get. Again, if you don't like it, you know, now what I'll do is I'll just kind of walk away, and if you come back and don't like it, just take it back out. It's not glued in, so, you know, no harm, no foul. And I don't know if I'll be able to get a, hold on a second, if I put the light down, bring the camera in like this, and then put the light, okay, I can't see if that's focused, I have no flipping idea. Let me see if I can, I really don't know what that's going to do, but that's what it looks like from the, I think, from the ground level up. So, okay, we put the light back down. So that's how we go ahead and blend in the, you know, in between the mats and whatnot. Let's see if I can show this here. I need a light. Oh, there's my finger. That's nice. It's cumbersome. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're gonna let that set up a little bit. Not focusing. You can see where it is there. And again, now you might be able to go, oh yeah, I can see exactly where you put that line, Rob. But, you know, we're not done yet. We're going to come back and put some bushes, shrubs, Filigree Bushes, you know, maybe a low tree here or there, some other, you know, higher bushes. It's all going to have a lot more put on it. So it's all going to kind of blend together. So right now, I got that done. Just kind of showed you that. I need to get back to the back and start working. You can kind of see where that, it kind of reflects off of the, right there is where some of that is. The same color I just used. You can see some running down there. Some there. That was there before. I didn't add that. That's a lighter green, which may not look as good with the light shining on it, but you know, looking at it here on the layout, it's not that bad. So all right, so we need to get back, work along the top there, get that done, so to speak, so I can start working on the front side. But a lot better, a lot better. See if I take that light away, if it's gonna, see, I like the way it's looking around the tunnel. What I want to do, because I think it'll be kind of cool, somewhere in here have some of the Filigree Bushes or something kind of like sticking out over the, like it's a tree growing up, or a scraggly looking shrubby type thing with something sticking out over toward the tracks. I think that would look kind of cool. Not to make the whole thing a tree tunnel, but just trying to get that scenic in. And then of course we got to move around. I got to figure out what I'm going to do up there. Like I said, I took that building and I moved it over there. I don't know if I'm going to use it. It might be too big. It might make more sense up here to have a smaller building like that. And I might have a smaller wooden shed or something like that I can put in there. Or just put a nice tree there. That's just going to be a kind of a field, because it does kind of blend fairly nicely into the backdrop. So, okay, more to come here as we plug away at the embankment scenery. All right, continuing our progress here on the backside embankment before we move seriously to the front side. So what I've done, just added a little bit more back in here. You can see there's some more trees and bushes and MBR shrubbery along the back there. And in the back here, I'm using, I tend to use the Filigree Bushes back here more, only because that stuff is fragile. And I've learned my lesson. You put it near the front of the layout, you put it out here along the aisle, it's going to break. So anything that's in the front is going to be more of the MBR trees, because they're much more sturdy. And even when they're glued in, they're pretty strong when they're in. But I've been doing that. I've been doing some, I don't know, some hedgerows and just having fun, man. I just had a blast. I've been down here for about 2 hours just doing stuff and gluing stuff in. It's starting to get a little bit fiddly, because what I'm starting to get to in the back, it's probably harder to see, but there's individual pieces of Filigree Bushes like growing out of the embankment, and that takes time. There's also some individual pieces, and that's going to focus or not, of MBR shrubbery. That's just individual strands taken out and just kind of stuck in there. And there's one down here. Oh yeah, there's one right here. That's just an individual one, just for fun. Okay, so what I kind of said was, all right, so the shrubbery goes along the back of the edge of the field there, various trees and bushes, then it gets to this maple tree and kind of stops. Boop. And then it's just kind of open. You can see it's just kind of open here. A couple more shrubbery. This here is the back of that maple tree that I saved, cut it apart so that fits up against the backdrop. But that's the back part there now as a low shrub, and a couple other things sitting over there individually. It looks kind of patchworky right now. I still need to come back and do some more, but I'm getting tired. I've been standing for a while. I'm getting hungry. I think it's time to go up, maybe have a refreshing beverage, and then let it marinate overnight or so, and then come back down at a future date to do some more work. So that's where we are. So it's definitely improved, I think. Still need to do some work here on the front side embankment, but I think it's going to look pretty cool. Again, nothing real high on the front side here, because it is the aisle, and I don't want to block the gorgeous trains coming by. But I think it's going to look pretty good. I also did weather the track a little bit in there, and I think what I want to do, this probably won't be visible because it's so darn dark, but along in here, I want to put some standing water down along the very, very edge of the track there. Boy, that's probably way too dark to even see, but that's one thing I'm thinking of doing. All right, so there we go. So that's where we are right now, in progress here on the embankment part. I think it looks pretty good. What's it look like if I take la camera and kind of pop it down here? Does that look at all good? Oh, I can't tell. I can't really see. I don't even think it's in focus, but okay. More to come later as we progress. But we're trying to make progress here and having some fun. So, all right, we will be back. All righty, going to wrap this up for now. I did do a little bit more work in here, just more, filling around, putting in smaller pieces of the Filigree Bushes, Martin Welberg bushes. Oh, what else? Just stuff, and some more of the Heki pull apart foliage type stuff, some rocks and debris and twigs, and you can see I put I did a little drone here. I put another little dead tree sticking out there because the more you drive around, there's more dead trees sticking around than you think. If you open your eyes when you're driving, which you should be doing, of course. So down here, I did put in, like I said, some of that standing water on both sides. That was an area that looked like it just needed it. You also have whistle posts in there. I have a kind of a New York Central style flanger and wing plow warning sign. There's the yard limit sign on the far side of the bridge. So that's the standing water. That's just done with the Woodland Scenics. I don't think I have it handy. Woodland Scenics, I think you just kind of pour it, and it works pretty good. You do it in thin layers. And the nice thing about it is that's actually mixed with some Vallejo acrylic paint. I think I mixed this with mud. Just a drop or two. Put it in there, and it kind of clouds it up and makes it look a little bit muddy. So you can do this. You can also do other colors. On the other side of the peninsula, I did a kind of a brackish green looking color. Maybe I'll throw a photograph up so you can just see what that looks like. So it's really kind of flexible. And it works very, very well. Again, it will take several layers to build it up. It depends on how deep your ditch is or whatever. But I see I did it on both sides here. Give it a little bit of a nice look. I don't know if I kind of bring the drone down low here. How good it all looks. I'm not sure. I can't really see that well holding the cell phone, but like that. All right, like I said, and that there is the wing plow, just plain black. Although New York Central did also do those outlined in white, which I'm not skilled enough to figure out how to do. I mean, I know how to do it. I just didn't want to do it. To be honest, I'm lazy. Lazy alert. Lazy alert. All right, so this is it. I said the embankment here. We'll just kind of look at it and go along slowly so you can see what it looks like. And, it's to a point now where I'm happy with it. I can let it sit for a while. You can always come back and do more. You got a couple hours to kill. You can come down with some of the Filigree Bushes, more deadfall twigs, bushes, shrubs, etc., and do more. But really, for now, it looks fine. And up here to the tunnel, I think it looks pretty good. And we went up here. Like I said, there's the one little bit of a fall foliage tree or a bush starting to turn up there. And then I did get that larger tree back there in the field. Another bush, some other stuff there in the field. All right, I broke down and put some deer in there. What the heck? I don't like to go crazy on that because sometimes it looks silly. But I think that looks okay. And then there's the little shed back there. That focuses in. There we go. And I did add some more stuff here in the field. And there's a Farmer Joe is out here working. And he's walking toward his buddy, his golden retriever. Is up there. So that's where he was working. I didn't do a whole lot more past the front here. I did add some more shrubs and foliage and yada, yada, yada. I didn't really move much more over here to the right just yet. You can see I still have those JTT trees in there. Oh, I added that one kind of a fall foliage tree over there. But so this area in here to the right still needs to be worked. And then down here on this embankment and by this tunnel, that still has to be done. But all right, we'll get to that. All right, so let me just pause quick and go back to the other side. All right, so droning over here to the inside of the outside embankment. Say that 4 times fast. That's what that looks like. See, I slapped in some telegraph poles just for the fun of it. I'm not going to string them. That's just too much work and too risky, and I'm just not going to worry about that. But this is how this side looks with the mats done. Extra foliage there on top, and again, extra Filigree Bushes and some small stones sprinkled throughout. So that's what this side looks like. And then up to these 2 little MBR shrubs here. Then this area up here, I may have another video coming out on this if I think it's worthy. That's some of that. That's the same area. But what I did do is come back and kind of in this, oops, look how that changes the auto white balance. Whoa, cool. Tangent. That area there, I did come in and use some static grass. I think it's 4 or 6 millimeter, like a golden fall color or something like that. And then put some more, sprinkled in some dead fall and dried leaves and whatnot. So that's where I did try that there in that area. I don't know how well it shows up on the cell phone video, and I don't have a great cell phone. Anyway, so that's the area. So that's what it's looking like. I'm going to call this done, or done enough for now to move on and do other stuff in the layout. So that is it. So I'll just do a quick overall view. I know people have been asking, when you're going to run trains. It's like, yeah, you got a layout. You ever run trains? Yes, I do. And now that I'm getting some of these scenes done, I think it is time to do a video of some trains running. So that's on the list. Although I'm also setting up for an op session. So that's the other area that was in the previous video. So now it all kind of works together. So that is it, folks. That is the embankment scenery. Calling it 90, what do I call this? 95% done? 98% done? Anywho. Okay. Thanks for watching. If you slog through this whole thing, more to come is we have other scenery videos in the works. I did get the peninsula pretty much done as well, so that's probably going to be the next video that pops up, and we'll keep working away here. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Do appreciate it.